Drone here. What's going on, guys? This is the Potensic GPS brushed X5 clone. Has a 1080p camera on it. Does take an SD card in the rear. I believe the camera is pitchable by the controller, despite the fact that the box said it was pitchable prior to flight. But that roller seems like it'll work, so we'll definitely test that out. It is app enabled. We are gonna open up the app, see how that works. We're gonna see how the SD card works. And I'm not flying in my field. I'm going to do a backyard fly like most of you guys who may not have a large field would do, and see how it goes, and maybe take it out of my area here and see how things work out. We're going to test the FPV. And just to let you guys know, if you have the brushless Potensic GPS drone telemetry, it won't work on this. I thought maybe it would, and it won't. You can fly this without the cell phone. I've already tested that. All you have to do is go through your calibrations, and then you can fire motors out of GPS mode. And then if you put it in GPS mode, you have to wait for GPS to lock. But let's go. Power button's right there. Our gyroscope's going to be off just a little bit. So we get rapid flashing lights that turn into blinking lights. We're going to go ahead and turn on our controller here. We're going to throttle up and down. As you can see, we got a notification there. We have red and a blue blinking. Right now, our left side, red in the rear, green in the front, is lit. We need to do a horizontal calibration of the gyroscope, your geomagnetic gyroscope. Then it gives you a beep. So now we want to go ahead and I'm going to put the hat cam on. We want to go nose down and just go roundabout. As you can see, the one side lights are steady and the other side are blinking. It beeped again. Now we are good to go as far as to fire motors, but right now we can't. Why can't we? Because we were in GPS mode from default. If you want to take off, you don't want to be in GPS mode, just go ahead and press that. We are going to go in and get into the app. I haven't opened up the app on this. I haven't connected to the drone at all. I was playing around with this inside. That's a little UDI RC GPS 004310 is what you want to go ahead and connect to. And then once we are connected to that, if you have a smartphone, it's going to tell you there is no internet service. That's okay. Then we want to go into Potensic GPS app and then just click Go Flying. For this one, it's the first option that you have here. And we are going flying. It says weak GPS. I would like, let's see. So it should be searching for GPS right now. I would like this to lock on to GPS and the Wi-Fi feed. It's okay, I guess. There's two antennas underneath this. And again, normally we'd be in a wide open area. We're locked on to 7 satellites, 8 satellites. Probably needs like 9 or 10 to unlock in GPS mode. 9. So at 9 you'll get another beep that you're GPS lock, and we can go ahead and take off into GPS mode. I'm gonna let it sit there just for a second or two more, see if we gather one more satellite. Then I'm gonna take it up. And I'm going to kind of canvas around here. We're going to rely on our FPV. Again, I know everybody doesn't have a flying field like I do where you could just send it. Some people might be restricted to a small backyard or a side yard or whatever. So that's why I'm doing this for the general public, for the general users who might not have that large field. So it looks like it's only going to lock on to 9 satellites. I have my home to the left of me. We have a big tree over here. We have another tree over here. We have trees over there. In an open field, we might lock on to more. But we're going to start a screen recording. In 3, nope, try again. 3, 2, 1. We are recording. We are also going to record on board. It shows that we are recording on board with the flashing. We're going to unlock the motors. We're going to go up. And we're going to let off the sticks. Dropped a little bit in altitude as I let off the sticks, but for the most part it's sitting nice here. If you can see the trees, they are wiggling a little. I have a little bit of breeze going that way. We're gonna go ahead and raise up here. And let's see if that camera is adjustable. It is adjustable during flight, as the box said prior to flight, so we can adjust it all the way down or we'll go all the way down. We'll see how far down it'll go. It'll go down pretty much 90 degrees. That's pretty impressive that it goes down that far. And then we'll go ahead and put it all the way up. We'll go ahead and go up. And the FPV feed is clear. We're locked on to 11 satellites, 10 satellites, 12 satellites now that we're actually up in the air. And again, it's sitting pretty rock solid. We're at 20 meters high, 2.4 meters away from myself. I'm going to go ahead and give a pan this way. Give a pan this way. It's not toilet bowling or anything. It's sitting nicely. Now that the sun's facing it, we're actually getting lines in our camera. We can tilt the camera down to get rid of that. And what I would like to, I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to take a picture. Picture taken. I'm going to swing this way. And I'm going to look down just a little bit more to get the resolution to change out a little bit. Going to take a picture. We're going to go back this way. And we're going to go up a little bit. See that my FPV feed keeps recording here. The FPV feed looks pretty good. We're getting a little bit of jello. Again, we are dealing with a little bit of wind, and this is a brush drone, so that's kind of to be expected. But if this quality is good, that'd be great. So I just took a picture. I'm looking up a little bit, and if you look up too far, I get the lines. And up there, the wind's greater, so we could definitely see this bouncing around a little bit more. But we're gonna go ahead and record. We're going to turn this way. Okay. And green is your front, red is your rear. I'm going to go over this way. And I'm just going to put it forward a little bit. Put it forward. And it's getting skippy. It's pretty skippy right now. I can see the drone. It's directly in front of me, so it still is in line of sight. I do still have my FPV. It kind of grabbed. If any of these antennas are real, I'm going to say it's this one. I don't think this one is wired, but out there I do still have my FPV. It's literally in between these two trees straight up. We're about 46 meters up and 49 meters away from myself. I'm going to go a little bit further. I'd like to maintain visual with it. Okay, so right now it's beeping at me. So I'm going to bring it back. And it showed it was disconnected. That's probably why it's beeping at me. I'd like it to stop beeping. We're going to stop recording. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down because it's showing that my battery's still 93%. There, now it stopped. So once it got close enough, it stopped. Again, I'm in a highly congested area here. So that wasn't good distance at all, but if you are dealing with a backyard like this in a residential neighborhood, a side yard like this in a residential neighborhood, you're going to be limited. You're going to be limited to about 50 some odd meters. Now, if we go out to the field, guaranteed we'd probably get better results than that. We'll do a flight video on that in the future. This right now, again, as I explained in the beginning, is a backyard residential neighborhood fly to see what type of flight we can get out of this. Bam! Look at it, the pretty yellow birds. Really pretty yellow birds. I've never seen those before. Super yellow birds, man. That was nice. So what we're gonna do, we're showing 91%. Showing 91% on the battery. Just going to go up here and show you a little bit of flight characteristics. Again, as I let off the sticks, it sits there. And again, we should be able to pull, and it goes back to the spot and it raises up in altitude. As you saw, it dipped down first, so be careful doing that. But it is essentially exactly where it just was. What I want to do is show you two things here. We're going to show you a front drive with this, and again, we are in GPS mode. It's not moving very quickly. We're going to go ahead and bring it back, and again, it's in GPS mode. So when we let off the sticks, the drone sits there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it out of GPS mode. It is now out of GPS mode. So essentially, it should drift. It seems like it's still locked on to GPS slightly. But we're going to go ahead and run it down the field just a little bit. It seems like there is definitely some GPS still locked on, and we're going to go ahead and bring it back. And I'm going to let off the sticks. And even out of GPS mode, because it was locked onto about 11 satellites. It's still sitting there. I'm not touching the sticks. So if you take it out of GPS mode, don't rely on it, but understand that you're not going to get really sporty characteristics with it because it's still locked on the GPS. What I'm going to do here is we're going to put it in 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We're in the third speed rate, third pitch rate, whatever you want to call it. We're in altitude hold mode. This is going to be the fastest characteristics that you can expect out of this. Which it's really not that sporty, but I mean, if we had any more of a breeze or anything than we do right now, and again, it's in altitude hold mode. I'm going to go ahead and put it in GPS mode. I've put it in GPS mode, and it seems to kind of constantly be in GPS mode the entire time. So that's going to take away from any type of sporty characteristics that it has because it's constantly dragging on satellites. Which isn't a bad thing, especially for beginners. It's definitely not a bad thing at all to have this sit in GPS mode constantly because it's going to hold. And if somebody accidentally, and we got a heavy wind pushing this way, you can see it tilting that way, it's doing its job. For a beginner, oops, I pressed out of GPS mode, and a normal drone, I'd say about 80% of your GPS drones that will delete the GPS will just drift and take off, and you might lose your drone. So this is definitely very user-friendly, very beginner flyer orientated, and that's just something to note for you guys. Hopefully the video quality on this is good. I only took, I mean, we're still doing a screen recording here, but when we took a little bit on the SD card, we took a couple pictures on the SD card, but we're not going to do too much more with that. We'll go ahead and record again. We're recording on the SD card. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. And we're just going to climb here. I'm locked on to 17 satellites right now. I don't know when that happened because I really wasn't paying attention to the FPV too much. And I'm just going to go forward until I get beeped at again. Now we're a little bit higher up. We're kind of in direct line of the drone, not really obstructed by much of anything. And my FPV feed is pretty much frozen. I can see the drone. It's still clocking its distance. I'm going to stop and see if it grabs this FPV feed at all. It's not grabbing the FPV feed. I'm going to still push it forward because I can see it. Nope. And there, it wants me. We've lost the wireless connection, but we're still connected to it from the remote control. So I'm going to go ahead and connect back to it. It gave me an option to connect back to it. We're going to bring this back. And hopefully I get my FPV feed back here, because if I don't, I might not be able to stop the recording on the camera. We're going to hit cancel. Now I will show you towards the end of this flight, which I don't know when the end of this flight's going to be because this battery is lasting pretty good. There's one of those yellow birds, man. There, I got it back. So it did connect. It connected back, unlike some of the other drones where, look at these, that wasn't it. There's a couple yellow birds that are flying around that I've really never seen before. Some of your other drones, it's probably nesting. That bird, because it's kind of circling the drone, and birds are fairly territorial, and I've noticed, especially with smaller birds, they will swarm a drone, especially if they're nesting or they have a nest or little ones and whatnot. So we'll bring this down. We really don't want to aggravate them. So just to get a good look at this drone, we're going to pop the hat cam off. We're going to bring it down a little bit. Get a good look at it. Good looking drone. It's a matted color. We got green lights in the front, red in the rear. It's not a high gloss type color, matted color. I like the matted black. J-Drone generally has dirty hands to, oh, I guess we could stop the recording on the SD card. To where these white drones, which generally the X5 clones are white, and that was a little bit of pep on it, where they just get dirty really quickly. So I appreciate a black drone. We are going to continue flying this. We are going to fly this for a full flight time. We have 56% battery left. I was messing around with this in the house, so this will be a fairly accurate flight time, but you could bank that you'll probably get a little bit more. If you have no wind, you'll probably get a little bit more. The flying conditions here, the temperature is just about perfect. It's probably like 75, 82 degrees. I'm not sure of the temperature. I was just down south of where I live considerably, and it was almost 90 degrees down there, but as I got home, the temperature did drop. And again, guys, please let me reiterate, your Amazon drones that you are not buying from China, you're not buying from Chinese sites, you're going to have a price markup on it. The reason you're going to have a price markup on it is because this drone has already been shipped from China. This drone's been shipped to a retailer in the United States. They've rebranded, they've reboxed it, and they've reshipped it to Amazon. So there's a lot of shipping that's been involved for this to get to Amazon, to get to you in 2 days. You also have a fail-safe on this, not just a GPS fail-safe, but you have a fail-safe. If this thing breaks on you, if this thing flies away, because it shouldn't, it's a GPS drone, Potensic has excellent customer service. You bought it on Amazon. If you're a Prime member, it's hassle-free returns, just as well as you can go on Facebook and get a hold of a representative from Potensic with 0 issues. Why am I coming down here? We're at 46%, so let's see what we got going on. Do we have a Zeno effect yaw drop, or maybe that was just wind? Zeno has horrible banking altitude drops. Okay, so actually we're probably in the highest. Yes, we were in the highest speed setting. So in the highest speed setting, if you're full pitch forward, you're going to lose altitude. I am in the second speed setting. I am full pitch forward. It seems like I'm maintaining altitude, so the barometer on it is actually working. So we're cruising right over my head. It's not dropping in altitude. So the barometer or barometric meter, whatever you want to call it, that's inside of these drones, on this one, it's working pretty good. But again, if we go ahead and hit the H low button, we go forward, we're losing altitude slightly, coming backwards, losing it slightly. It does have a little bit of speed in that third speed setting. You have 3 different speed settings, or pitch rates, whatever you want to call it. And what are we doing here? We're feeling a sag on the battery. We're at 38%. We're definitely feeling a sag on the battery, where if you're going to do a hard maneuver or a hard bank maneuver, it's going to drop altitude because you don't have the starting voltage that you did from the start. So we are sitting at 28%. I'm going to I don't know. I'm going to drop it soon. I'm going to drop it soon, just because, again, if I was out in my flying field, I'd just let this go. It could GPS return home wherever it wanted to. If it GPS returns to go over where that center block is, where we took off, there's a possibility it's going to hit these trees. And I don't want to chance that, because it probably will. It'll raise up to a certain height, come over and drop. And I don't know the set height, if it's higher than these trees or not, so we're not going to chance it. We're sitting at 28%. We're going to do a little funnel here. Here we go. Okay, so it's doing it anyway. So we're going to find out. And it's not. It's going to be close. No. See? See? Oh, super close. We almost hit those trees. So your set return to home height limit is just about the top of these trees. And we took off from the cinder block. So the GPS is not completely accurate. Where it might be locking onto is where we went up in the sky, unless it's going to come back this way, where we went up into the sky and it locked onto like the 10 to 11, 12 satellites. But for the most part, it's sitting here. It's dropping. It has dropped. Motor shut down just as soon as it hit the ground, which is nice. You're not going to strip gears doing that. Low battery stress. I got you. I'm hitting okay. I'm also stopping my screen recording. We're getting out of the screen recording. I wasn't recording on the SD card. That's good. We're down to 14%. So you can see the distance in a residential neighborhood where we took off at 9 satellites, where it's quite a bit of distance. But all right, guys, I'm J Drone. If you haven't subscribed, please smash the subscribe button. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely get at me down below. And as you can see here, I got one antenna on the side there. I got another antenna on the side there. And initially, I was going to pop those so they were facing downwards, because you really don't want the tips of those antennas facing you. That's like the worst possible reception. So just dropping those down might increase your FPV. And when we get this out again for the field, maybe we'll do that. 20 minutes. I probably jabber-jawed for about 3 to 4 minutes in the beginning. We got an excellent flight time on this. Again, smash the subscribe button. Questions, comments, concerns down below. If you want to be a part of a dope Facebook group for drones, RC cars, anything RC related, boats and whatnot, drone exclusive. Link for that will be down below. Definitely get at me later.